Ann-Margret has never needed spectacle to command attention. Her presence, measured, confident, and unmistakably self-aware, has always spoken louder than trends or headlines. Recently, she stepped back into public view with a quiet boldness that felt entirely her own. Not as a provocation, but as a statement of ease. In a culture that often treats aging as something to be concealed or corrected, she offered a different narrative, one rooted in comfort, clarity, and self-respect. Rather than framing the moment as a return, it felt more like a continuation. Ann-Margret has long embodied a version of glamour that isn't performative. What people noticed this time wasn't simply how she looked, but how grounded she seemed. There was no sense of apology or defiance, only assurance. She appeared fully at home in herself, and that sense of belonging is what made the moment resonate so strongly. Her vitality is not accidental. It reflects decades of intentional living, shaped by balance rather than extremes. Ann-Margret has consistently favored habits that support longevity, movement that keeps her strong, nourishment that fuels rather than restricts, and an approach to beauty that prioritizes health over illusion. The result isn't just visible in her appearance, but in her energy. She carries herself with the ease of someone who listens to her body and honors its changes instead of resisting them. What truly distinguishes her, however, is her commitment to honesty. In an industry built on reinvention and concealment, Ann-Margret's refusal to hide behind artifice feels quietly radical. She doesn't attempt to recreate an earlier version of herself, nor does she frame aging as a transformation that must be justified. Instead, she allows experience to show. That openness challenges the idea that beauty must be frozen in time to be valid. This moment has struck a chord across generations precisely because it isn't engineered for approval. Younger audiences see in her an example of confidence untethered from comparison. Older admirers recognize the courage it takes to remain visible without compromise. Her message is not about defying age, but about redefining relevance, proving that presence, not youth, is what sustains allure. Critics and fashion observers have noted the refinement of her choices, the way sensuality and restraint coexist without contradiction. Ann-Margret has always understood that sophistication is not about excess. It's about knowing when to speak and when to simply stand still and be seen. Her style reflects that philosophy, intentional, elegant, and deeply personal. More than anything, this chapter reinforces what has always been true about her legacy. Ann-Margret represents a form of glamour rooted in self-knowledge. She doesn't chase validation, she embodies it. Her confidence doesn't ask to be noticed, it simply exists. In doing so, she invites others to reconsider how they view aging, beauty, and worth. What she offered wasn't just an image, but a reminder that every stage of life carries its own authority. By showing up fully as she is, Ann-Margret reaffirmed that elegance is not something we outgrow. It's something we grow into.